show nyenda kutangira iwe mazimazima yabasa kutogitaho agamagingo ningamano kwa ikintu cy'amani munonga kurebuka ngo abasa kutogitaho agamagingo kwisyaho ebirungi obudakikano butano bwonka watya muko mushaha mushanjo zihangwe mwenye ndakutangira mu Sky Express nkabutosha umuhereza ndi izedi omwishikatwa karahange gambirine wenyini omwana w'abakama enshonga yake yari John tonatu jigonze tukwende byo gumantu mantu kitandika cyereze mwene waguma ori mu kiyungu ningama ori mu famu takakicere ya screen yawe abeno manyangwa makuru gakutsiga kama tangire mu Kongo bomo tirwe abatuza bariyo nibagarra South Africa yayekorebe empare ningwa tari kakamagara wempare ngufu South Africa yayitungura yagumizamo International Court of Justice ni chumbagiza Israel ya Court of Justice nabyo nabikuretera kandi mwenu ho India abahinji bakwata iguru na hansi tractor n'imodoka bantu bayibembeza bakabroking enguto Poland nawe yakarakasa aba Ukraine niza kugambira abwenki bayikarakasa aba Ukraine nicha bayikarakasiza kandi Taiwan nayo hati ya jamute kwenda kuzana mwini yagaya ngo kwatana mu na China niza kugambira abwenki Russia ekwatsire yatsiba omukazi wo America aine dio shetensensimpo no mu Russia kan no America ekiba mukwatire niza kugambira abwenki Guinea president wa Guinea weta kwenda kusheka yabakari ebyo na Sky Express izoba na izedi omushikatwa omwana w'abakama Sky Express show nyenda kutangiri wena ryaho no basa kugumanitwe mpaka kugumana orinda amakuru agokubaho munsi yona kandi nitunza kumandika kuretera mpaka mwene mu Kongo enshonga za Kongo na M23 nizigera niziranda nimwaje kugambire oku Paul Kagame na government ye ya Rwanda etiye mutsumaro mu kigere ekasindika ebaroha ekagenda omu UN mweneje baro yahandikire kushaba ngo babinge amahega sadak na nagandi ga peacekeeping mission zo muri Kongo bakajibuza bwenki yakajya mwene ndeko ko defendinga aho kujambo nereba its sovereign states security is under threat konka US nganagamiro wa mukaga ekarabura Rwanda yajengu Rwanda ntumango irama he omu M23 ndwa kushaba kintu kimwe cyonka takwenda kuyomba niwe kwata basirikare bawe amahega ogona ogiyo muri omu North Kivu province ogare Rwanda tutkwenda kureba yomba hekera hariyo wamahega Rwanda wa RPF sasa ryecho ekira kwata uno zakutumanya Paul Kagame agenzere yagira ngo mweni hangali yabo on threat i Rwanda is on threat bemba gitinisiriza eshayona kujurumba yone gamanta ine ya mahe Rwanda rather tayina mahe Kongo kandi obujuru zibona ngoreka ngo Rwanda niyebe mbizo mukono ogwa 85% omukushaji kaba hekera aba M23 abayomba tugumye cyaro sake bakagitwara hata bayomba jezo kugira ngo ba advancing barumbe Goma ekibuge kikuru omu North Kivu province juneta woni nkuru munongo mu North Kivu province iba ku Rwanda hata na ino benda bagihambe bagiyeho amahage giseko ku Rwanda nagandi menagament sadak yo ijo bakaji abinji to kuma sadak konka buri jo niza manishobora Southern African Development Community sorry ukushasha ni nshasha konka mpaka no kwegumya kugira ngo mbasyeho amakuru aga tinka basa kwosha kugira ngo kandi mbana bakora ku munonga mbwen bagenzere amahega M23 ijo gakagira ngo ito tukabentwenda kugira ngo tugumize mu Rwanda konka kugira ngo twarekeraho amahe agago mukaga gubaresere aga sadak garumuna UN Peacekeeping Commission gaturumba gatere bizuka mwene ito twatine chikora kuyo kugira ngo to retaliating nito tugarra yo fire bati barija kutere nyonyi batere nyonyi amushayi na Goma batere nyonyi y'abashabazi ejo bagitisha bitaka mwene atu Rwanda yena igira ngo yo emazire kusekwe barenga airspace yayo habo kwetangira ukanga kwanga kwa America mu America magikanga kanga munonga mwene nayo yashaka kugira ngo ebase kwe controlling au kana jambo it's national state or it's national security is threatened mwene kujitene tinisirza no bareba ngo byo kwirinda byabo byihanga tibiterire agama ega sadaka kakabemara kwerundana bwanyuma y'amahanga 13 kwerundana amahanga 13 kakahereza abasirikare onkabinja barumu South Africa, Malawi, Tanzania, Burundi yagandi gawasa kusindika abasirikare ningamahe mu Kongo kwasaganiraho abasirikare ba Kongo begite hamwe basa kutera M23 bwanyuma yo kureba ubujuruzi bwona no bushonga omuri Rwanda kusapotinga bakajereze mukono mwena wajanga bayegite babase kuba nibakora kubica manje mnonga mwen muchosha nyumazyo mbenaru jiraha aba M23 baronchinga ebikompora batero mu cyaro aha aba kuronda bubudamu aba batorokero muri sake bakoyeje bakuzo mu Rugoma mwene ibaye ba displaced people umunyanko timo kuna chikwetere but the displaced numbamanya tingenda kubeta impunja ko bakiriye mu ihanga ryabo konkaba nabo kwa bahunjire abo kuhunga kurga umwanya gwo gubambatura mu kugira ngo baze kuronda ombichweke bindi ebiri safe aho kuba ibichoka byabo abayica ba M23 bakabitahamu kandi bamara kwiza cyaro bono batera bo umuntu bakushangaho abakazi no bahamba abana bine mwengo gaba batwara baze kubahekera abakazi babatwara baze kubazarra abana kandi bimwe batine mugashaba sirka abashija abarema abazeyi abakade basiga babita iyo niyo kora yabura umuhekera we na hakorabo mwene bono bahunzi yagabo birukanga mwene abatire mu kikompora akaroba kose yabambi abantu bingi bafutazwe omwana wa myaka 12 yafera ho karasi abene myaka 12 we akaferamo kandi abantu bona babasa kuba batwarwa birwaro aba injuries abwe bironda na nebindi mwene uko akahuje na konka kutamba mafuta yankara wajwa wahirwa tafune bufuta ofuno bufuta bwo mutwe umunda bomorwe kanga notari in the right state of mind mwene abona batwire mu irwaro babasa kuba nubayamba kubajanjaba konka baturage bono bagira ngo ito M23 studio nshonga nimwe ncokora ito ntwirukanga tutsigaho itaka ryitu turubarekera ibyanga bena tubarekera izo tugumiza mutkuronda ahantu hatara abateganise mwene ito nk'abantu babutosha tumusheme kwa n'umutwanishinga numutera hatite muterire busha mwana mu Rwanda na namahe agane matahiganya ko kubingana go gine mundu gine bikompora mwagatera babateri konkitwe muterereki izo bantu babutosha kataka baremere kamuta kugira ngo mutasigaraho tukasigaraho kandi tugenda tukabahunga tukabarekera businge konka bwenci numugumiza muno mutera na mutwenza ki agargo makuru kuruga mu Kongo.
The fighting's escalated in recent weeks as M23's fighters have closed in on the provincial capital of Goma. Dozens of people have been injured and killed.
The M23 rebels dropped bombs on the civilian population. Many of us were wounded. We don't have problems with them. They should rather take it up with the military.
M23, the government forces and the armed groups they support have all been accused of atrocities. It's the latest round of a conflict that began in the 1990s when Rwanda and Uganda invaded Congo. That prompted 2 wars that drew in around a dozen African countries and killed an estimated 6 million people. Eastern Congo has been unstable ever since, and at the centre of it are Congo's minerals, such as coltan, which is used in almost all electronics. Whoever controls the mines and the trade routes can earn vast profits. Foreign forces continue to play their part. The 25-year UN peacekeeping mission has been criticised for failing to protect civilians, on the request of Congo's government, whose own forces have also failed to protect civilians and to stop M23's advances. The latest foreign troops to arrive are from South Africa, Malawi and Tanzania, who've been fighting M23 alongside the government. On Saturday, the US said Rwanda should withdraw its troops and surface-to-air missiles from Congo. Rwanda has said its national security is threatened.
Sky Express ina kutangira ejeno Congo omwaka gwa 19 nyamyaka iyo njira yawe guraho konkomo rucyenda zomu mu 1990s Rwanda na Congo, Rwanda na Uganda yitweji bona bakarumba Congo kuba rumbere Congo buri mwaka nenda yebyemfuna aboja mu Congo nihanga ryine byo bugiga byinji byo munsi omuhendo gw'abantu kwingana nka miliyoni 6 bona bakafa habwe invasion ninga bakarumbagana ka Uganda na Rwanda nchwarebera abakongo mu kubanza baja mu Uganda niyo supportinga M23 na Rwanda konka Uganda kizira yetereza yarugaho mukana muhurra na neje mishango yaberiyo yo kujangu bakambavunana by then ba commanders bamahe abibiremba ho za Congo bakabara musente nyamuyinji ihanga ya Congo yatabaza Uganda kujangu shishore sentezo akwakwatahira byo bugiga byabo okotindaze yo munonga konkata chiroho Uganda eketera mu chifuba hata ne supporting a Congo akane sini kama he kujanga batwere M23 by then M23 katakizire M23 nebigenderwa byayo abandi bajango nebigenderwa bya Rwanda ati M23 nkayonka mwene tina inogwa mushijo konka bona buryo mwene na gendera ara analysis orebe nsonga yizi kuza na nubu kakafomu kwa boro bujurizi obukwija kakoreka ngo Rwanda niye kwendecho mwene Rwanda hata wa hati yamazire ku securinga airspace yayo ene guraza drones enwanyi ene guraza drones zo keta kujangwe gumero burindara akwamba mangu Congo na inaweza kutabakesha yona mwene Guinea jine sangu mu West Africa omwaka gwe kunibiri abrana gumwe omukwa mwenda Guinea bakabaho echamba government ekaje chamba government military coup d'etat echamba government echi abasirikare ninga shamahe baba nubo bahamba ho government bakwata president yabaroho obwiro bakara Alpha Conde bamutekanyara bajangu hatiwe kurugira mishango eji neje bura mu bushobankuzi n'ibindi byona twachenda obono chebembera Guinea ntendo zawo bamuyaho mwenu izabembera chikosi chamahe bakumwita kano Mamadi Doumbouya obwa hati nangwa mu weeks sa wire umukwezo kwa wire bakaraka kumukuza bamuhezo bwa general from Kano to general hey hati no muita general Mamadi Doumbouya konka abinji tentu mangu ninga Kano awakatoguruka madarago no kando kazabwa 4-star general no mwen Mamadi Doumbouya niwe ayebembire chikosi ekyahambira government mpaka anaga majingo mwene metare junteji atuyena tejeki hangarye yakwata ba general zawamwe yabagabira muza mene za ministerial posts mu government ababara hamwe umurukuru wo kwamba government nukuba utegeka hamwe ihangeri konka no muntu atakuzanazana when it comes to governance takwenda ekintu ekyakweta corruption newankubadde harimu obushomanguzi omu system yabo akwati bukaburamu ekyo nkyakafuye obushomanguzi tibukabasa kubura mu gavumenti y'ekinyamahe tekikabasa kuburamu naye yakwata ari president akwiba abamukuratira omwimbepa nuko nibiiba kandi abogira ngu babahambira mu gavumenti kandi abogira ngu nibabire bigenderwa bimwe takabatunga munonga kakumu akwa bakamutungamu nameshi kukurataho process batahire mu baza kuhamba gavumenti babasanaho kujya mutasya mwe nabareka kugira ngo kasta tukahamba mu gavumenti mwe nicyo kiri muri Guinea chizre men junta afune report kurwa minister of justice yagira ati nyaburabwe Mr President ba ministers abo wahirwa minister mu ihanga ryiteri yitonga kitongore kiramuzi tugerezeho kugira ngo tucondoze ubushomanguzi twashanga ngo ba ministers abo kureba aba nibembezo ringa public funds nibatwara sente zo muhiho mushoro bazinyaga babihanguza akora bine websites zo bakora bamu kugira ngo securing sente zawo bine bank accounts iwozo takumanya muhendo no shanga nka EZD aine bank account eriyo mazina ga Bashija Enoka baza kureba kandi Bashija Enoka mwese gintoro account ejo konkwa in real terms neberia EZD mwen nawe mamadi dumbu yakamaze kubihura ya arabia hijra jiro yaje tiburo kumanya ngwana na minister mbanza munyo passport ye ene travel document yine mujimuyeho mujireta tutkwenda hajire minister yirukanga akiruka ngo muhanga kabura nitwenda be accountable to the sins he has committed mwen hati eja kabiri ninyenda access ya motoka za government na majuga government yo korara mugona bajibiyeho ba minister zabo na kutungwa kakumu tinchenda bakosega motoka za government ninga ba assistants babo ninga ba escorts bona mubanze mbabiyeho iba kurara naho amahega bagare mugahindure muteka ya gandi agenshonga garaba barinde mutatoroka icyakashatu mu freezing accounts zabo tinkwenda Bashija Enoka minister wenshonga zimwe ayirukange agenda zo mu bank aza kuzujoinga sentes ngo bazibiyeyo ntwende turebe byo mweza ina banka atushobora kazi yankai mwene muri Guinea hariyo akasambatko internet waranza baji suspending mpora emabajishara bagira ngo twakwenda kandi ba ministers abakosa urungu yaganinga shi orjezjezi kugenda bakabasa kudrawinga funds batazimanyire mwene banza mu internet very restricted to the only the authoritative crime unit says investigators banze babasacinge bintu ebi then turebe ebirakweto mwene wa chief of staff General Ibrahima Sole Bongora alijire agira ngo dore ko mangu minister wena hata chiri minister kuyeho ayinatirwa mutochi mwene ayichirize mbera kandara yanje wenka General Ibrahima Sole Bongora ni wakumachira mukore agargo makuru kurugomora Guinea byatabuka.
Not only did junta leader Doumbouya dissolve the government, but he has asked every single minister to hand over their passport, revoked their security clearance and access to government vehicles. This is an unprecedented move, and it comes after last week the very powerful Justice Minister, Charles Wright, had written to the Prime Minister suspecting ministers of corruption, access to the internet and to certain websites that alluded to this corruption has been restricted. This comes at a time where there is growing dissatisfaction among many in Guinea in the way that the country is being governed. There's calls for a return to the rule of law and democracy, for elections to be held as soon as possible. The prices of basic commodities are going up, and the internet continues to be down, very much affecting the population in the country. But this latest move by the military junta is to show that no one is above the law, that everybody will be held into account, and that money, if there is corruption, will go back to the people. Not only did junta leader Doumbouya dissolve the government, but he has asked every single minister to hand over their passport, revoked their security clearance and access to government vehicles. This is an unprecedented move, and it comes after last week the very powerful Justice Minister, Charles Wright, had written to the Prime Minister suspecting ministers of corruption, access to the internet and to certain websites that alluded to this corruption has been restricted. This comes at a time where there is growing dissatisfaction among many in Guinea in the way that the country is being governed. There's calls for a return to the rule of law and democracy, for elections to be held as soon as possible. The prices of basic commodities are going up, and the internet.
Mamadi Doumbouya na jirangu sente zona ezirihwe umba minister zabo awukuma ngubona bembakora bino bushomankuzi bakoyembezwa ringa sente zo muhimo mushoro zona ndakuzigarura mu bantu bazora kwetinje abantu buri minister wena kumangwa ine sente atakubasha kushobora yazihire na hazihiro mbwiro buke zona bakuzimwiyeho bamusigirezo za kwasa kwa kwantinga fo ezo kubasa kuhereza imbarira yazo denezo tine mbarira yazo mbakubara ngo chikopo kachigura sinyi zingayi ichikopo cyo ino waweche umene chikopo nyonga chigura sinyi bitano ngo bitano mushara ko ine sinyi bibiri iyo bitano kabisyota ngaguzente yanjemwe yampa sinyi 8 naguzenki to yanjemwe yampa sinyi bitano ngoma ya chikopo bitano hasigara sinyi bibiri byo kabiye gakuzoka bibiri babikuyeho babitwara abantu ejo niyo system ya Guinea yaresere hati bona bara anda otafaye na kona myaka kemu ihanga ryabo. South Africa hindure kindi kintu nyamazi yo babari yo mu hearing ninga shi umuruhura rwa koti yensi yona bakweta International Court of Justice. Nkana ku government International Court of Justice niyo court eya muheru ekuheruka yo obuhangu omunsi yona. Abinji numanya ICC International Criminal Court no. Ni International Court of Justice. Zono zitana kandi izi kutana kujangu ICJ niyo International Court of Justice yone okora mishango y'amahanga. Uganda ninga Congo yatawariza Uganda. South Africa itawariza Israel. Gambia itawariza Myanmar. Malawi yatawariza Taiwan ebyo. Then yo ICC ni ekora mishango y'obuntu. President wananka aine mishango yetineti. President wananka aine mishango yetineti. Omuhechera nanka ni nyandu wanchenga hati ejo niyo ICC konka ICJ yene kora interstate emishango yo kwasa kushobora amaha ihanga arindi mbweni South Africa ketu matuma bwanyuma ya Israel kwevetinga aba Hamas omuragaze katera gaz bakajikora kubi amahanga gumanika kone minjira yoku konka South Africa yirukanga zo ICJ yejaje ngito kwa South Africa twayemera nabo amushija bwitu twa presenting ebihandiko byitu twatabariza Israel nenda kureta chita abantu umuri Gaza kwa maze kubitekoko inshonga z'abanyinji ba presentinga pages za 85 zona z'inshonga zabo bareta ba royals na ICJ handikira Israel kwize kwekozaho na Israel nayo yasindika team legal team ya yamateka kwijira hasa kwehozaho bashara mwishonga kubaje kusharamu bajango Israel ishime kwana iteka imahanda yo kurabya mu babiho biyambi kwikomora Gaza tayine kujibroking yagira ngo ekora kintu cyo ku preventinga civilian kufuna buhuta tokwenda kurra ngunangwa unanka umuntu wabutosha yafa ombia chwire mbiona terare se mwitinde cyo kweta ceasefire kujango rutaro mu rwemereze amahanga argayo gajango ICJ ezbiro rutaro ahabwent Israel negumiza mu nejemera kote nkuru Amerika yargayo hariyo mukazi Linda Thomas Greenfield ambassador wa Amerika mu UN takuzanazana akayati nyenda South Africa mugarikisha mama jezi kuma abenu manyoro jungu murutirize ICJ okuyachuire mwencho ya muyayo tine hera gambe ngo tarwemerere kweka jango iteko measures tabana wanyasa muntu wabutosha measures zo kuhereza abantu buyambi hata ishonga zibe zarizi konka hati Israel obwerumbe Rafa ekibuga ekiri omashuma ga Gaza ekiri containinga abantu bakurenga nka miliyoni 1.4 million no kweyongerayo nikibinga babona ababirukangire abirikire ku rugomure Northern Gaza bakashuma mu mashuma akwaba hekera bona bakaba in bases mu Northern Gaza bakurumba muri Israel atakane batera mbagarke nyuma mwena abantu bona baka Israel kabajete muri jemu mugaricho mu mashuma ekibira cyanura ekiri cyo kwerezo buyambi kibase ko containinga abahitira mbatereke twashekure abahitira kubahurire icyo birukanga mwene Israel izenebuza kuza kushanga yashanga inendachi abahamas binendachi ahansi ya office zezo ebyo namena bagambire tiza kubigarukamo mwem hatu basitamira mu kachiko pano neri abantu 15 abaramuzi bacho mu enjo muyabo babonzo mahanga gona muno haku supportinga ceasefire kujangwebeho amahanga gimseme kono habara mahanga shatogonka Fiji United States na UK bajano hako abstaining kujango bababstaining ngotaro bazo babemereze barujeho mpaka kujango hajira hecabaho barutandike UK ati nyoni mpajirecho kana ujango rutaro rutemera no bayi United States of America na Fuji zona zimusyo mukono ngwito ntishapoti ngotaro rugomezemu mpaka batira bahejira bakabamaraho Vusumizi Mandosera ogunwe ambassador wa South Africa omu UN ayimuchira jatito nka South Africa nutujira tunesesi zitu nutureba turra kantu huritsiriza obusas babantu ba Palestine abafirisuta aba obakurabamu awechita abantu cha Israel chekwenda kuleta homo Gaza itonka South Africa tukaraba mu nshonga eza apartheid bakatwita twabareba abajungu apartheid ko yatubire ho twabire tukayinense ndijo naye tijikeho mwene busasi ngo no ntureta before you mbaze mu considering mutakatire karuru ogun wewe Vusumizi Mandosera wa South Africa alkweze nshonga ze.
We as South Africans sense, see, hear and feel to our core the inhumane discriminatory policies and practices of the Israeli regime as an even more extreme form of the apartheid that was institutionalized against black people in my country.
Be seated.
Nyina kutangira iyo mugenzi wanje aliyaho mwana Vusumizi Mandosera yahereza nshonga zabo South Africa America tikagwaho nshonga zimugamana muzichenga ambassador wa Israel muri UN ayimuchire ati nyenda maze mu mpurikize mwena mbaze muhuname ati nyone banyeta Gilad Edon ninyi ambassador wa Israel mwene ninyi kagambe hati ara answering on behalf of Israel ati nyenda maze mu ngambire imo mwena mutaro bashema ati musasa ko sojo remerubi atkonka numujangu mwa voting ngo ceasefire ebeho nyina mu ngambere ceasefire gifite mara ko mezo rutaro ncakumanyisa ngo bahekera barugwaho tomara ko mezo rutaro ru aba Hezbollah abayoni bataganisa Israel mu mambo ko muri Lebanoni aba Houthi abari mu Yemeni aba Kataib Hezbollah nabari mu aba Jaidish nabo bari muri Syria aba hekera bona otiyaba Hamas mu Gaza mwene bako baho mu munsi yona ninga mbakugira ngo hati kasta UN supporting aba hekera kagira ngo murekera ho rutaro ekimansa ngo Yemen na yo government aba hekera bayaba Houthi mbakugita hansi aba Hezbollah mbakwata government ya Lebanon bagita hansi awuja mbayangu UN mwakurugayo mujihoreze ngo kumuhoreza aba Hamas kandi kumuriyanga babajingo abo iki mwahoreza aba Hamas imitemita kwenda kurikiza nshonga zitu ati mwacu barareta mu nseji mama nakugira ngo rutaro turwemereze tutatire bahekera bona kubiyaho ekindi mwagira ngo twemereze rutaro ntanki masa ngo you giving immunity abahekera bako banyantagambaho UN yamara kuragira mukemereze rutaro biri umuhekera namango ati no man nyantagambaho hatkanda kindi ekindi kwenda mumanye kugira ngo itwe enshonga yitu ahabwe nti twenda kutera abagaza ndwenda kutera Gaza tukagira kimwe map enshonga abo nti twenda kutera buri Hamas wena hari umuhekero mu Hamas tukamutera tukamuyaho nemwe abo kuba hati tomara kure ko muhekera twamurekaho aina bana byazare abana barzara ortana bako bemerire mbaguma bine ekintu amutuma batubike ntimasha ngo abana bitu nabijukuru bitu mu misho ko Israel aba hejera baba Hamas abijukuru baba Hamas mbakwiza kurvotinga bakore revenge batere aba Israel bona large numbers atacho mwachirebere ndatu mwakachirebere ataha atetwe sorry atmwem imwe mu mamara gahajira abahekera ngo babeho hatkamemba buzi bakarga kwamba mwana w'imyaka 4 years old bamutwara abahekera bahamba mwana w'imyaka 4 bamuyabazirebe babatwara kamutararugire yo mukarumira rwo muzire yarizira amarra ari atumwana wanje bijuka n'umfasho ngazabana itone mutujya mutatera abana kuri twine mushango mutatera ki abahekera kambatwara abana bato bakabahamba abo mukamba bitiramo bamakora ataka kamutaka gambira abahekera abo itwe mujwara Israel yonka abahekera mukabargaho atumaya muri mu ndeba atumukwenda tinkwenda mu mukoto muhuname kandi muzegumana muhuna inkembwa zareba mushuma hero zino bwoba zitakwenda kugamba ataba jihad gisaba abarwaniriza bedini bo kuri abar jihad mbakuza kuhinduka mu future butchers babucha linga abantu batine mase batine musasa batine mbaba zone atkana ba Hamas nibakuraza hati babanze bere grouping bere arming bafuneme kuwanisa byinji bafuneme technology oburo misho barataga sensi yona mutati basa kwakwataho bare bertaro kurri bare bere mwabahire immunity ekibariza kora hati yade hingugambira abantu ntwari 10 ba Israel mu mambuka bafurikireyo kibintu hokuza ba displaced from camps amataka gabo bagarekeraho abo ba Hezbollah kubatera atkonga kamutaka gambe ba Hezbollah bonse mutera ba Israel konga kutukuzo mu Lebanon twatera ba Hezbollah ngo babaza baraza bagarukayo bahise kurumba Israel mukana ati Israel yarumba kuno ataha imo Saudi Arabia mwene mugamu mu West Bank ngute nturumba mu West Bank hari abaturage bo kuturayo nitoye abashagirayo konka aba Palestine abari mu West Bank nibarumba mu Israel kiro bamutera bamaraza bamurumba bamutera bakaraza ushanga nchakaro mu Israel afire muno benda barga mu itakaryabo kamutaka kaje mukagira bakwata ba Israel babinjeyo ombusingi abonci nibabita kamutaka gambere atumwe yo cottage nuniza kugira ngo itonga Israel kamba stand yanje yo kwerukayo ndoenda kutera Rafa bitaka 2011 kwa kashatu ndo kutse tutayitaka aho kuba tumukwasa kunja ngo burtuka buza Philippe Lazlini akura kitongo cya Human Rights cyo buyambe muri Gaza yaje ngota kamanyaga ngo abakozi be nibegitarana n'abahekera hatumwe kuza kushanga hansi yayo ya headquarters no haratano abo ngista kugitera mwanitwe tutoraraze aganirwa makuru nakanyoroganyo agabekariyo mukoti.
Draft resolution at the United Nations Security Council calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza was vetoed by the United States on Tuesday.
Those against?
It was the third such veto since the start of the Israel-Hamas war.
Abstentions?
Britain abstained while the 13 other council members all voted in favor of the drafted text.
Proceeding with a vote today was wishful and irresponsible.
U.S. Ambassador to the UN Linda Thomas-Greenfield told the 15-member body that the draft resolution could jeopardize ongoing ceasefire talks between the U.S., Egypt, Israel, and Qatar.
We believe that the resolution on the table right now would, in fact, negatively impact those negotiations. Demanding an immediate, unconditional ceasefire without an agreement requiring Hamas to release the hostages will not bring about a durable peace. Instead, it could extend the fighting between Hamas and Israel.
According to text seen by Reuters, the U.S. has proposed a rival draft resolution calling for a temporary ceasefire, quote, as soon as practicable, and on the condition that all hostages are released. The blocked draft resolution, which was drawn up by Algeria, did not link a ceasefire to the release of hostages. Here's Algeria's UN ambassador.
Voting against it implies an endorsement of the brutal violence.
Israel's UN ambassador said the word ceasefire was being mentioned as if it was, quote, a magical solution.
What exactly will this silver bullet ceasefire achieve? A ceasefire achieves one thing and one thing only, the survival of Hamas.
Palestine's UN ambassador said blocking the Algerian drafted resolution would mean more horrors in a war that health authorities in Gaza say has killed nearly 29,000 Palestinians.
The message given today to Israel with this veto is that it can continue to get away with murder.
Outside the UN headquarters in New York, protesters called on the U.S. to back the resolution. Washington traditionally shields Israel from UN action and has been averse to the word ceasefire in any resolution.
Sky Express Show inakutangira ezo nzonshonga eza America. Warrenfield wa America azengo mwaja mu ceasefire na nezo nshonga zimukuletamu niza kuyaho pistoks ezo zigeno mnisho yo kwikirizana hatukonka mwena mwaja mu ceasefire tiri hanga ryona erina hurana ragamba mu bikugamba byabyo kugira ngo bareta bahamba abatwira aba Israel babagarure urutara barwemereza mwena mwahagira ngo ceasefire ashi Israel yamana kwemereza urutaroru abahambe zo kwaja tuta ngo Hamas mbaku yabahamba babarete babashabira mu businge ngo mbarete turecho rutaro bayanga muntu batubabiha muntu bakoretse muntu baretse bagumeba bina bahamba a China muyono mugirango manyama nkari mwayiba kugira ngo hine omuchayina omutuze ashuru mu China ogogo holding chongiri ayino muharo batwire mwe national wine na karina ra kana muhagira kugira ngo twemeze rutaro atwara buzimwe mukora bina amageze India abahinzi mutwara gumone nkumina bayishuka nguto erizo bahindura mu nkora bakwata tractors 12 bazivuga bajena bazara Haryana na Punjab border bayigara border taro kushara kwa gomo state kuzo mu ndijo yamba jamu police mwina Mario tear gas numutera kigoko mwenka tuje tubarebe ayengo gambira abo bakwatwa konka bo abahinzi bayamamta kozera nshonga ziti za MSP minimum support price nanobu kwa kuzetu tuwagambe bihingwa abana nabisha tubyona koyo mu contract yanyeje kugira ngo muzugura mu unions tutkwenda ultimatum muzo yo jango mutugure bihingwa bitano no byonka pana utwara rwayongerayo abe Caracas bayino beyongera impako mu kibuga ekikuru echa India konkobwa hate amahe gastegera mu Haryana Punjabi na Shambab nga batangira bakwenda bagumize mazo mu New Delhi mani batwara tractors bayigara boda taro motoka kushara taro howa motoka yona kushara ja mu kibuga zo mu kindi mpaka babateka akazito mwe turebe tractors zona 12 kuma rete bulldozers mukazekora mukaziya ngaba hinja bambabo agarungo makuru.
More than 14,000 people and over 1,200 trucks are currently present at the Punjab-Haryana Shambhu border. Farmers have brought in JCBs and other earth-moving machines to break through the barricades and march towards Delhi. The central government has conveyed a strong objection to the Punjab government. The Union Home Ministry urged the state police to take strict action against those breaking the law. The state government has now placed a ban on movement of earth-moving machines towards the border, and the government of Haryana is also on high alert. Haryana police have arrested several protesters early morning in Manesar. They were trying to march into Delhi via Gurugram.
Oltaro rwa Israel na Russia ubara kwa sirahansi na yiguru Ukraine na Russia oltaro rukacumbagiza ebyemfuna ningasi ebyoshobozi economy bo munyankore ncetenta konka kati ebyemfuna no Ruganda yemfuna yihanga ya Ukraine mwene ebyentasi ya yihanga kwamaze kubicumbagiza European Union yarwa yagira ngo obutare obeno supporting obeno exporting grains muzimanya mparo mu nka wheat engano mparo mu muceri rice mparo mu grains ni nyingi mwene obutare bwona wabe buryobo babucendeza bya babusharamani bikiriza Ukraine aboja ngo iyo nayo export yayo ekutuza yo wingi nayo ni grains Beitiza Ukraine ebene ya dominating obutare nko muri Germany supplying German grains dena gana mahanga ga Poland na gana ko yongerayo ga Sweden na gana ga supplying ngo mahanga gandi kugira ngo nawo akabasa ko yongera akasente base kufuna mu kweda buro mu economy yabo ninga abantu babutosha batachishubura mu within ahabwe kompara naki bubase kufuna mu akasente nabo babase kweyagara mwene shituire wire buri mu munonga emyaka iba down the road aba Poland bayikarakasa bayamupana pana charenga Poland niye benakiza yo ku exporting grain muri Germany bama kujisara ho Ukraine yebe mbera manetwara yo naga majingo mwene aba Poland baje bayikarakasa bare the tractors zabo zona ba broking border Ukraine obutashara kugenda muri German train zeze kutwara kutwara exports agricultural exports bakwata ba brokinga engoto zo gari yo mu kazona za parkinga nyane mwijuka buri buto twine mu Uganda obwa covid yes obwa covid buriya emotoka by'amafuta uwambaye kwatara boda masima y'Rwanda watestinga baza bakora ki bakabutero mushururu bakabutera line kurganka mpaka nankahi bitera imwe ningiza gari zo mwiga zona ziparking rero zo lane tuzikugenda ezikorwa Germany kuza kwakira tuzikurabaho ezikorwa Ukraine kuza Germany tuzikurabaho ba parking tractors mu mahanda tokwenda kubamanyira mbagira mweshonga zabo bine kwata Ukraine ya devaji enkortaro ronda bino kujara kore na Poland nayo itaka kusupplying Germany au kwa grain zabo yohingwa byabo byaza byafradinga byaburo butari kandi Germany ne consuming amunonga grains mwen nibenda bazibere Ukraine Poland egariche supplying Germany bakwata itoroza buri kibuga motoka bakwata emyanya igana kinana yona baje kordoroza motoka na tractors kanga kangi ngo banze kureba muri yecu Minister for Infrastructure we yaberebera hahihi yajate mwaza kugambe byone mwaza kora myakweta hwempo emihondano yenkwatagana yihanga gitu ya Poland na Ukraine mbakuja ngwito nkihanga nito twachipuraninga nzoina kuremesa Ukraine kandi hato kuturi yazo in supporting a Ukraine akono bwa president wabo Donald Tusk elemeka nkaga na mukaga prime minister wabo akana hajira enshonga za Ukraine against Russia mwena twahurura nkanda hati mwana wanje Donald Tusk Zelensky nwabe na meeting akaja ngone simu mwana wanje hati naza kumureba mishoki prime minister muzangati no kigamba hoki ataje nshonga kabore kirekache abana kwa government ministerial departments babase ko bano baba kugonjora enshongezi agargo makuru.
Polish farmers' frustration over grain prices has reached new heights. Using their tractors and trucks to protest in 180 locations and disrupt traffic throughout the country in an attempt to grab their leaders' attention.
We are protesting this situation and asking Mr. Tusk to come and talk to us farmers, for Mrs. Ursula von der Leyen to understand the difficult situation here in Poland. Farmers all over Europe understand this difficult situation because this is coming to them too. Rotten grain enters through this solidarity corridor. Let them come to their senses before it is too late.
At Maduka border crossing, their anger spilled over onto the tracks as they dumped grain, leaving Ukraine by train to Germany and left it to spoil. In 2022, when the war began, the EU waived duties on Ukrainian food exports to help the war effort. Farmers say this unfair competition is now crushing their business.
Nina kutangira ebiciryawo Taiwan obwire bwahuireho eryato lya China omumizi ena tureba mapao ariho controller bawe mape ndabe bawe mapao ku surface basoke barabe kyemba nyonyola bakyechi sokati aho hariho umwanya ogwo kweta Kinmen nekibuga ekikubarwa mwe nakazinga akukubarwa omumizi aga Taiwan konka China ege kuteganisa basi abwira mwene hina na Kinmen naimo kurebawo eryato ry'aba China likakwata rigibira haza abe barumubona natu bakarebukire mwene government ya China ya suspectinga government ya Taiwan ya jangwa Taipei niwe mukorete nshongezi kandi nkireba kaba coast guards bani no base kwibuzire eryato ryitu ngo paratitwe mwene kwaje kureba omutecha shesheri izoba enyonyi abernina zenwanyi zijire aiguru ya Kinmen nao zakora patrol kuruga mwene kiro cyona zaragosha ikubiri bizakasheshe kwe bari yaho mizi kuruga nshonda nenshonda 10 aircraft carriers ziyampora nizisembera Kinmen kwe bari yaho barebana n'ebidiyere bindi mukaga nawe byiza nibiyerera Kinmen abataipei kwaje kubuza umure government ya Taiwan Minister of Defense where ati nyote nakwata maheganje kuzagate ko muri yebipana atamahemwe na mugume muri stand still haza murebe America murebe China icyo busure kirakore basa kujinyaza tension za China na Taiwan za jeno misho China ne jana Taiwan tori bihanga ryetongbwire Taiwan ne jana China tori integeka agana ngoma kuru
Taiwan's waters near Kinmen on Tuesday morning. Now, Kinmen is administered by Taipei, but located just 5 kilometers from the mainland city of Xiamen. Taiwan Coast Guard said it dispatched a boat and used radio and broadcast to drive away its Chinese counterpart, which left the area an hour later. Now, just last week, 2 Chinese crew members died after a boat capsized near Kinmen. Taiwan's premier stated that both the sides had been aware of restricted and off-limits sea areas since 1992. Shen Jen said, and I'm quoting him here, "We hope that both the sides can be equitable and cooperate with each other." For decades under constant threat of an invasion by China. Beijing claims Taiwan as a part of its own territory to be seized one day, even by force if required. However, many Taiwanese people consider the self-ruled island to be distinct.
Nyina kutangira udachika wirukanga india wagenda control inyanti inza kugenda ompora mporao mwento kwirukanga hobo yirukanga tuduke misinde twabenga tumaliriza mukadde 5 munnange Russia ekwasire omusirikare ekwasire omutuze wo America omukazi omuyihanga lyabo bamugira ngo nimbega abayino butuze bwa Russia kana no butuze bwa America konkabe na rasibe mu Russia na itorora na rondo buyambi abona abakubasa ko hereza yo sente ningecho buyambi kugira ngo basajike amahega Ukraine yitokuteka ngwina abantu bagwiriraro nozo to mu Russia ukarabo mu kibuga orku mobilizinga crazinga funds mbakwereze mbase kuguramo ibyo kurwanisa ningebyo buyamba mizi nebyo kurya nembazi mutwara bahekera ba Ukraine abayimba bashekura bamukingiye nabana ngo makuru.
Officers can be seen taking the woman into custody. The security service said that the suspect has been detained under treason charges for allegedly raising funds for the Ukrainian army.
Treason is punishable by up to life imprisonment in Russia. So several US nationals are currently imprisoned in Russia, and Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that he wants to negotiate a prisoner swap in exchange for Russians imprisoned abroad.
Now the list includes Wall Street Journal reporter
Sky Express show ogwe nuwo mukazi wabasekwatro mu Russia abantu bagwireshazi ninza kwate simweji nduja aba Global Anti-Corruption Initiative Limited n'ekitongole kikurwanisa obushomankuzi n'ekitongole cy'abanyamateka kandi n'ekitongole kikurwanira abo ningashi ekitongole kikwasa kukora mishango domestic yomuka ekitongole kikwasa kukora criminal ejyo bushoma n'ebindi emishango erimo bushomankuzi emishango gyo tuyire mu kote takwa bekwata ba Global Anti-Corruption Initiative Limited base kukwera nebenda bakozi omu office zabo mbare na guru nebenda bakozi accountants nebenda auditors nebenda ba lawyer nebenda ba marketeers nebenda secretaries nebenda journalists wano hurano or lawyer or auditor or accountant or no basakora mu gwa reception no basakora mu gwa kitunzi bwa marketeers basakora mu gwa secretary ningo bunyamakuru no basakubye kwata aba Global Anti-Corruption Initiative Limited babase kwereza mu muri office zabo zambare guru na mbara hano muri mbara nibashangwa hawarenga Vision Empire Katete Road wano shuma Vision Empire kwerayo mukono gwa buryo hansa haraka pande hinga kashakapa karo Independent Baptist Church no basakutaha mu buzo tinyenda ba Global Anti-Corruption Initiative Limited wora hari no ndakubuza by'imirimo ninga mushango gwawe tera no tumushanje 82 16 na mwenda ninga noti mushanje 3 atano na mwenda 9 noti 2 ninga noti mushanje noti 2 ashatu ni 3 ana mushanju nkaga ninga noti mushanje mwenda abernemwe mushanju 5 noti 5 ubase kugama na ba Global Anti-Corruption Initiative Limited edachikanizezo atano na mwenda nyona crew ya twena awasa kwisikia Sky Express show ni nyanti nechamani munonga ichikwata no time mulekwe show konka dativa hori happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Dativa, happy birthday to you. Dativa yakora buzima birthday na kora program ya buro mukuru buru wa mukaga sayishatu babare munonga ndi izedi omushikatwa karanega mbiri ne wenyini mwana bakama obusinji